listening audience, and welcome to yet another Reelkind at 12 frames per second. I am one of your players for today. I am Gail, otherwise known as Whirl, and I am going to be playing Memoir Beckford once again, or rather, Memoir Alejo. I always get the last names mixed up. This kid has had too many names for one lifetime. I have so many names to memorize. And I am joined today by the wonderful, charming, beloved of my life, best friend in the world. Say hi, RJ.
Hi, RJ.
Hello. And this is the Chaos and Time and a very confused Reelkind FPS. So, I guess it falls to me to do the opener now. I have not done an opener in so long.
That's you.
So I guess opening shot would probably be just kind of the late afternoon in the barn. Sunlight streaming in through the open doors. And Memoir is kind of putting the finishing touches on some project or another. And it is peaceful, it is quiet. And then I believe we get a message.
Yeah, you get the knock on the door from Raph. you can tell it's from Raph. You know at this point what his knock is like.
Mm-hmm. And he does just kind of raise a hand to his earring, like still working on the project with one hand, and just kind of absent-minded listening.
The first kind of thing that you get is like a not an emergency kind of vibe, like a semi-urgent but no one's in danger.
Distress call, but I'm not dying.
Yeah, distress call, but it's just a weird thing, not a bad thing. And then it's like
very confused. Hey, Memoir?
Yeah, pretty much. And then it's like, you've got a visitor. They're asking for you by name. He just literally just sends the memory of Decimal basically walking in, clearing his throat and going, "This is the law office where Memoir works, yes?"
And I'm going to roll history to see if Memoir fucking remembers who Decimal is. 17! Alright, just... Okay, he kind of, like... There's a brief moment where Raph definitely gets, like, the impression of, like, the memory of just pausing and setting something down on the table that Memoir's working on, and then just blink, blink. Oh! Familiarity. I know that guy. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll be right over. And he hasn't even really finished that message before he takes a step backwards. I'm gonna roll a d4.
Uh-huh.
3. Okay, there's a knock from inside, like, I don't know, a broom closet in the law office.
Raph, I think, is a little bit used to this and just walks over to open the door.
Hello! I managed not to appear inside the fucking fridge this time.
You're making progress, yeah. This was just kind of
Getting
watching
better
this with a raised eyebrow.
Memoir, pauses, gives Raph a hug, just, hello! And then will turn his attention to Decimal and raise an eyebrow back and kind of hands folded behind his back. Hello again. Didn't expect to see you so soon. How can I help you?
I had a couple of questions to ask.
Well, questions are always fun. Are they the sort of thing that you wouldn't mind asking here, or do we want to find a secondary location?
I'm going to guess by the fact that he managed to summon you here somehow that you've got some weird mental link going on. I imagine that either way, you'd probably be getting at least some of this.
What if you want it private? I'm good at keeping secrets.
Somehow I don't doubt that. I don't mind, honestly. Though... No, actually this is fine. Perhaps better. You can roll insight on that if you want, but he is very determinedly ignoring your questioning, hum.
That's only a 10.
You don't get shit, motherfucker. I'm gonna roll for Raph, though. Oh god, I've got two people going on. Raph, what's your fucking... Oh, this is gonna be interesting. I forgot. These motherfuckers have the same modifier for this. That's not enough.
19.
19. Unfortunately, is not enough. Decimal's passive deception is 20 fucking 2. So...
Decimal, Jesus Christ, on a bike!
Yeah. Actually, wait, hold on. Nope, it's perception survival. Yeah, look. Yeah.
Remind me at some point to figure out how to calculate, like, passive insight or passive perception or whatever.
10 plus the modifier.
Oh, so Memoirs would be 17.
Yeah. Yeah, so Decimal just kind of shakes his head, and looks around semi-pointedly like, is there anywhere we can sit? to which there's a unimpressed twitch in the back of the echo connection before Raph is like, we can talk in my office if you'd like. Or yours? Looking at Memoir.
God, me as a player. Oh, right! Memoir would have a fucking office! Me as a player just realizing this. Consequences of making my character a lawyer. Memoir does kind of just tilt his head to the side and hum and... That is fine, I think. I cleaned up in there recently, right? I can't remember. Stares at the floor for a second.
I've been keeping it dust-free at the very least. Can't claim to be doing anything about the files on her desk, though.
About the what?
The files on his desk.
Oh, shit. I forgot to put those away. Yep, okay. Nothing that was... Is proprietary the right term? Anyway. My office works fine.
Someone's just, like, quietly amused by all this. And Raph gestures for Memoir to lead the way.
Yep, and he will. I have to think up on the fly what Memoir's fucking office would look like.
We can just hand wave it so there's at least a desk and some chairs. This does remind me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
He probably... Like, there's probably... You know, there's a very decidedly... What's the term? Slapdash look to the way the furniture is. Nothing matches. Everything is very clearly, carefully hand-restored furniture. But, like, it is very much, you know, this is slapdash and put together from various disparate pieces, but also this works somehow. Like, it feels very much... This is not a place that is slapdash because it is not loved. It is a place where just whoever works here, Memoir, has a habit of just pulling things from random places. There's probably a sofa up against the wall. And then, of course, like, bookshelves with files on them. The desk, which does have, like, not even a stack, just a scattered mess of files across the desk. And for symbolism's sake, I'm gonna say that there's probably a couple just different vases with poppy flowers around the room because Memoir just keeps bringing them back from the barn.
Fair enough. Raph, I think, will grab the files and stack them someplace for Memoir to put away later before just standing behind Memoir, behind the desk. While Decimal, fucking seats himself without even being asked. A little bit rude of him, but whatever.
I mean, the invitation was implied. And Memoir will kind of just perch, not even like in the chair at the desk, but on the front edge of the desk, and just kind of lean on it and tilt his head and say, "So, questions? What can I help you with?"
You formed in Halloween Town about a year ago, correct?
Roughly.
Interesting.
There is a slight eyebrow raise of just, I don't know how you know that.
There, the smirk on his lips widens slightly in a very clear smug. If you want to know that, you'll have to figure it out yourself. Kind of.
I mean,
kind of
I
deal.
imagine that Halloween Town probably keeps records of citizens, and Memoir would need to get citizenship paperwork somewhere, so...
That is correct. However, that's incorrect as to what his source is.
You know what? I'm going to roll history on something, because I think that... That's a 20. Okay.
What are you rolling history on?
Memoir trying to put pieces together. Because basically it's a history to remember, wait, has Hugh ever mentioned Decimal? Hugh mentioned Decimal. Hugh knows me, and Hugh talks a lot about the people he likes. Did Hugh tell him about me?
Yep. That's enough. That's definitely enough. He kind of, I think he twigs that you've twigged how he knows. There's a flash of something. Roll insight again. No.
Insight, absolutely.
Resident Dad, man. Oh, that's enough.
I got an 18.
That's not enough. But Raph gets it, and he will share it through Echo. There's a flash of something like not quite respect, but the beginnings of it in Decimal's eye as he figures out that you put the pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
Decimal inclines his head slightly, leans back, folds his arms across his chest, and goes, "You interest me."
I'm flattered. Hopefully that interest comes from, shall we say, a kosher place.
Oh, please. Nothing so benign. The way you acted in that manner, it's almost like you're someone else. You seem to switch. I hesitate to say personas, because it's not quite correct. But you changed.
No, not quite. Decimal, you are welcome to roll insight.
He will. As he's saying this, his eyes flash red as he casts guidance on himself. Do 1 second while I grapple his fucking water fires. Da-da-da-da-da.
Hilarious thing is, Memoir actually rolled a 3 today.
Yeah, that might be why he's picked up so quickly on it, honestly. Okay, so that is that 25.
Because he's fully within his own head.
Yeah.
25. Yeah, you bring that up, Decimal, and there is just... It's not, like, a full-body flinch or anything. Like, it's not a violent reaction, but there is a sort of slight guardedness that picks up of just, okay, that was not something I had intended on anyone knowing. But let's see where this goes. Just very distinctly, that is not something that a lot of people pick up on. And it's probably not something Memoir talks about frequently, but it's not an immediate shutdown expression.
Mm-hmm.
If that helps any.
Yeah. There... he looks at that, and he looks at Raph, who has not hidden the way he's shifted slightly, so as to easier, pull something from his pocket. And he unfolds his arms to hold his hands up and go, "I've no such malicious ends, I assure you. I'm merely curious."
You'll have to forgive me. Curiosity of others has landed me in some hot water recently, so
Quite.
I tend to err on the side of caution.
You're the third one, correct?
Yes. You're second, right? No, first.
First, yes. Though, if I am informed correctly, myself and Gregory were taken within rather quick timing of one another. So I can forgive you being mistaken.
Easy to get the wires crossed.
It is, isn't it? But I didn't come here to talk about that. Or rather, it's not my primary purpose for being here.
And what would that be?
What has Hugh told you about me?
Not much. I know you're his older brother, I believe. I know that he cares a great deal about you and thinks very highly of you. I know that you tend to be hard to deal with for others. I do believe the term skittish alley cat has come up at least once.
The hard to deal with for others does draw some amusement out of the smirk. That he would be laughing if someone else had said that.
Let's see. I know you're a cartomancer, which is an interesting choice of trade. And I think that's about what Hugh has told me.
Both more and less than I expected. What else do you know?
That depends on how much information translates across stories. But I can extrapolate a few things.
I'd be interested to hear your hypotheses.
Well, I know you're likely from Cartradon, which, gotta say, not a place I'd ever want to visit. Let's see, I know... And Memoir is going to kind of subtly glance at Raph out of the corner of his eye and just hum and say, is this the sort of thing that I want to air with someone else in the room?
I think Desmond will pick up on that glance no matter how sneaky Memoir is attempting to be, and go, "If you're looking for permission on my end, you have it. I doubt anything said is going to leave this room at all, so..."
We do pride ourselves on confidentiality, yes. And forgive me, I try not to reveal people's secrets unduly. But if I had to hazard a guess, you were likely an indenture, you likely suffered a great deal of physical abuse in childhood, you likely got into the situation you were in without much intention of being there, because you signed a contract without actually being able to know what you were getting yourself into, and then proceeded to suffer greatly for many years before eventually making your way into the hands of some higher power which escapes my knowledge at the moment, coming to Anquel and spending several years here rebuilding yourself from the groundwork that you had laid. Yes?
Now I need these. Ooh,
What are we rolling?
That's insight. That's what you need to roll to contest. Raph gets it.
Let's see. I could beat that if I rolled a nat 20, so let me see. Come on, DMV. Damn! One short!
Rip. Yeah, well, meets it beats it, but Raph more than meets it, he exceeds it. Thank God for Ear for Deceit. You can't spot a reaction, but Raph notices, because Decimal's hands had dropped to rest on the head of his cane. His hands have tightened. Not enough that his gloves creak and give the game away. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And you get through through the echo connection. You rattled him.
And Memoir kind of blinks and kind of shakes his head and sort of almost comes out of a trance, because that is kind of what it's like when he's pulling information from the others, as we'll put it. And he kind of shrugs and says, "That's just what I can extrapolate now."
There's just like tilt to Decimal's head, like a cat watching a mouse.
Or a bird in this case.
Yeah, or a bird. And he goes, I'm starting to see why the weave is so confused around you. You've got the salient points, although there are a few things you've missed.
I can't claim that everything's an exact translation. I mean, from what I can tell, out of all of them, your story is the one that I had the most translation errors with.
That makes sense. If my guess is correct about what, possibly who, you are.
Oh, fuck's sake, phone's ringing.
Rip.
Scam caller, god damn it. Trying to do a scene here, motherfucker.
It happens.
And Memoir, like, I think just for the fun of it, tilts his head in the opposite direction and makes a loose gesture with his hand, just, well, you've heard my theories, I'd love to hear yours.
You and I are very similar. In more ways than you might think. But I suspect, well, I was made with purpose, you were made with panic. You've never seemed to quite settle, from what I've seen and heard. How many names have you had now? 4? 5? I'll admit I lost track.
Few the major populace have known, unless you count last names, in which case, technically 3. 2.5. But if you count others, 10.5. Well, no. Let's go with 10 as it's the easier number.
And then, your pocket watch is nothing I've ever seen before. Clearly, whoever made you has some association with time. Though, it's not someone widely known. I've never been able to figure out the symbols on it. Though I'll admit I'm not exactly fluent in a lot of the more esoteric languages. And I only caught a short glimpse of it.
Alright, you did see me pull it out of my pocket back then. God. And his hand does kind of go to his pocket and pull out the watch again, sort of run his fingers around the edges of it before putting it back.
I'm not sure who you were made for. But I think whomever they are, they didn't exactly make you very well, did they? Not if you're seeing into other timelines.
I feel as though I should be offended.
Perhaps, although, if you are, you'd have to be offended for the both of us.
Memoir does kind of chuckle at that and say, good thing I've got a thicker skin than I used to.
And I think whomever made you really does not like me. Or at the very least does not like who made me, and is transferring the sins of the father, such that they can be called that.
And Memoir will kind of look at Decimal and tilt his head, and there is a distinct moment where you would have to roll insight to kind of read exactly what's going on.
He will do just that.
Okay. And this is actually something Raph would not have to roll insight on, because Raph has seen this happen before. Where there's a slight glint of gold to Memoir's eyes as he kind of smiles and says, oh no, it's not you she has a problem with.
29.
29. Yeah, there is a distinct sense for just the briefest second of something else in the room. It's basically, for the audience, what it was a moment of Memoir's patron sort of phasing through and merging with his mind for a moment to be just like, oh no, I have no problem with you personally. And then you get this line, which just popped into my head, of, she has no problem with you personally. Matter of fact, she sees you as a bit of a victim and is more irritated on your behalf, but that's another story.
I've never been fond of pity.
Oh no, not pity. More irritation at seeing someone trying to do your job and doing it poorly, and seeing other people get caught in the crossfire.
That does get an eyebrow raised.
And we're just shrugs. I don't know, that's what she told me. I don't claim to understand everything she says.
Perhaps I should be offended. Seems she thinks I'm incompetent. Either way, it's not a title I asked for, so no one can exactly fault me for half-assing it.
Oh no, you're not the one. Like I said, you're not the one she's angry with. You're the caught in the crossfire part, remember? Whatever power made you, she doesn't. They don't agree with each other's existence, and they quite frequently undo each other's work.
Rivalry.
Something like that.
Well, I definitely understand now why the weed tried to tell me to stay away. But it can't deny that we are inextricably tied.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Precisely.
So why did you seek me out then? Just curiosity or defiance?
Why not both? In truth,
I suppose it could be.
I did have an ulterior motive, aside from those.
Oh?
You know that I am a cartomancer. What you may
Mm-hmm.
not know is that my cartomancy is more than being able to pin someone with a card from 30 paces.
That's right, you're a fortune teller as well, aren't you?
I am. I do not.
I was never able to get that down in your story.
Construction.
Like I said, translation errors.
Well, we are very differently built.
Mm.
This is something that has always been in me. It's never more than a glimpse, and never anything that makes sense until it happens, but you know what is coming next. At the very least, you know who will be going.
Mm. No, words. I can English. I forgot what I was trying to say. Memoir hums and nods. She knows too. I don't think she knows that she's next, but she knows there are 7 of us, and there's only 2 left.
Damn. I was hoping that I was wrong. Do you know what will happen after
Hate
that?
to burst your bubble. Hmm?
Do you know what will happen after that?
And this is where I, as the player, don't know how much I'm allowed to say.
Be vague.
Memoir kind of cocks his head and sighs and says, I know she's next, because she is 6 of the 7. I can't explain why. Everyone has a number. 1, 2, 3. He points at himself when he says 3, at you when he says 1. 4, 5, and she's 6. But you can't remember something that hasn't happened yet. You certainly can't adapt something that hasn't happened yet. she's next, but how it will happen, why it will happen, I can guess, but I cannot quite place.
I see.
I'm sorry, it's not much when it comes to planning.
Neither is mine. I am rather used to it. You mentioned before...
You'd think if we were going to be given ways to... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You continue first.
You'd think if we were going to be given ways to predict the future, it would be in ways that could do... It would be in a manner that can do more than just give the anxiety and building dread of, oh dear, something's on the horizon, when will it come, how will it come, I don't fucking know. But here we are.
Well, that is horror, is it not?
Pardon?
He said, well, that is horror, is it not?
Remind me where I signed up to be a horror protagonist. Last I checked, I was in the law profession.
Probably the same dotted line I signed on.
Damn. Well, we both made a mistake, didn't we? That or we both got conned.
My own glimpses are clouded. The shatter point upcoming is fracturing things, as it might imply, but there is one thing that is consistent. You mentioned holding confidentiality in the highest regard. I need your solemn word that what I am about to say will not leave this room.
You have it. And Memoir will, look out of the corner of his eye at Wrath again and just, in echo, you don't have to promise anything that you don't feel comfortable with, but I think this is important.
You have my word as well. That's not enough. And Decimal unfolds his hands and holds up his right hand with his pinky extended.
And Memoir will pinky swear.
He takes his hand back and then goes, every time that I've tried to foresee what will happen, I see ruin and I see blood on my knife. The who changes, but it is always, always one of us.
That doesn't mean a lethality, but that is certainly concerning. Well,
Twice I have interfered with Whirl's plans, and rather significantly screwed things up for them.
Oh yeah, no, they don't like you very much.
I am aware. I do not think they will allow a third time. I do not know how they will prevent it, but I do not. And he swallows, visibly.
I'm going to roll a d2 to see whether or not Memoir does what he's suggesting to me right now.
Oh, interesting. That's a 1.
Alright. I guess we're going with it. Memoir will pause, and then he walks a bit closer to the coffee table that's in front of the sofa that Decimal is sitting on. And he will reach into this bowl of marbles that is sitting on the table. And if you would like to suss anything weird out about these marbles, you'll have to roll Arcana.
Okay. Definitely not
But
his best roll, but sure. Oh, that's so pretty fucking good. That is, yes, that is 21.
Alright. Yeah, so Memoir reaches into this bowl of marbles and picks one out specifically with the two fingers on his hand that are gloved with the weird gloves he wears. He picks up this clear, slightly cloudy marble that catches the light in a weird way that sends sort of dots across the wall. And he rolls it to sit in the fabric that covers the palm of his hand, and he holds that out to you.
There's a hesitation, and then Decimal picks it up, but he picks it up between two of his fingers, like he's holding it between the sides, like pinched, kind of chopstick style, between his index and his pinky. And you remember, or you can remember from one of the others, that his gloves have thin slits in the fingertips, so that he can manipulate his cards easier. He does not want to take a single risk that there is skin touch, given how careful you're being.
Mm-hmm. And Memoir will kind of pull back and say, my lack of touching is more to avoid clouding the connection, if you would.
Silent eyebrow raise.
Let's see. Do I have you roll a wisdom save or do I roll a check? I think, what has it been to establish an echo connection in the past? It's been a whiz save, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
Alright, roll whiz save.
Oh, okay. I have to double check, see if he gets anything on these. I don't remember.
And I will say do it at advantage, because Memoir is intentionally trying to be careful, because he knows a few things about Decimal, and he doesn't want to freak the guy out.
Yep.
That's a good way to get, card thrown at you.
Yeah, that's a good way to get stabbed.
And, Memoir prefers not to have whole body piercings.
Okay. With the angle his hand is at, by the way, you can see his bedazzled mood ring. And it is brown.
Forget what that means.
I don't know if that means anything to Memoir. I don't know if he's ever seen a bedazzled mood ring before, but for the audience, Brown is scared.
I don't know if he's ever seen one before. I'd have to roll history on that. And I'm bored, so I will. Well, not bored, but, I'm curious.
Fair enough.
I use bored to mean curious sometimes, sorry. I am actually having quite a lot of fun. 19!
From that. Okay, yeah, I think that's good enough. You've seen a bedazzled room before. You recognize what this is. Oh, he terrified. He is scared. He does a remarkable job at hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking swerving away from that 8. 15. Not great, but not terrible.
Okay, yeah. So it's startling, but in the same way of somebody, suddenly knocking on any door would be startling. And there is a sound in the back of Decimal's head of just a polite knock on a door.
Here's where I have to roll something else. He's not doing this intentionally, but, ooh. Yikes.
Oh boy.
He gives a glare, and it is, shall we say, pants-shittingly terrifying? Because that was a 20 fucking 8 intimidation check.
Jesus, okay. What do I roll to contest that?
You could roll insight, you could roll the whiz save or something, I don't fucking know. You can also just have him weather it if you wanted to.
I think that's probably what happens of just, like, he had that history check a moment before of, oh, you're scared, and then I did something startling. Yeah, okay, you're spooked. Got it.
However, I am gonna roll, ooh. Nope, okay, alright. Please. Oh, okay, great. No, you both hear it, and Decimal can see it. A knife has just slid into Raph's hand. He's not raised it yet, but he's seen that glare and has armed himself accordingly, just in case this all goes to shit. Decimal very carefully takes a breath and goes, "What is that?"
Nothing dangerous. I can't find out anything you don't want me to know. It's a means of communication. My first language.
Your mental link thing.
That's why I gave you the marble instead of a bracelet. If you don't want the connection after you're done speaking to me here, you just leave that behind and you're fine. But I figure that some things are easier to explain through memories and sensations than they are through words.
I can't say I've ever related. Then again, I am rather known for my silver tongue. Slowly, like his shoulders had tensed up, but they slowly relax. And he like closes his hand around the marble. Did with opening the door, is it just like a kind of a thing that happens if you allow it, or does he have to like figure out how to get around his own guards, or what's going on with this?
I think that depends on how you want to play it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You know what? No, I am gonna make him roll for this, because he is a guarded bastard and his mind is no different. We're gonna do... do a flat intelligence save, I think. 17. Okay, it takes a bit of time. You can tell he's not intentionally, like, drawing this out. This is him genuinely, like, okay, how the fuck? But eventually the door does open.
There's, like, the mental sound of a bunch of locks clicking.
Yeah, literally. It's like him trying to pick Cyclops.
Mm-hmm. Like, he's the equivalent of that person who has, like, the apartment in the shitty area and therefore has, like, 7 locks on their door.
Yeah.
One of them's a chain slide, one of them's a padlock, one of them's a fucking combination code.
Yeah.
And Memoir will kind of tilt his head and say, I must admit, you are one of the most heavily guarded minds I've ever interacted with.
You just get a merciless smirk.
No choice whether or not to take that as a compliment.
He is very clearly taking it as a compliment. But there's a you'd almost call it hesitant if it didn't completely go against the entire person in front of you. This almost hesitant, almost ginger, thin, inquisitive poke.
And that poke is responded to with a very clearly practiced, like, this is something that is said a lot in this language of just Hello, hi, greetings, welcome, nice to meet you, nice to see you, etc.
That is so strange.
Maybe to someone for whom it's not second nature.
Right. What is it you wanted to see, exactly?
You had something you were trying to say, but you were struggling on getting the words out. I figured this might be a bit easier. If you just think about it and send the thoughts my way, I can try and pass out what you mean.
There's a short nod. And now I have to make a save again. Um,
Oh?
that's not good. Yeah. So, there's clearly a moment where he's trying to control himself and get his thoughts in order. But the moment he starts thinking about the thing to send it your way, it kind of just like a sudden flood where there was a thin um like almost like a scalpel in precision suddenly becomes a sledgehammer. And there is a rush of basically a rush of trauma, basically. Um and
Mm-hmm.
and and it's all kind of static. It's so much layered over itself and compressed until it has become this condensed ball of ow, for lack of a better descriptor, that is now exploding out. Um, but the thing that you get clearest in the middle of it all is a pair of broken hands that are shaking, one extended in the aftermath of a knife throw, and a pair of black eyes staring into yours, with a thin bead of blood slowly trickling down between the two of them from the knife embedded in the person's forehead. And the strong sense of never again.
Alright. That is. No! Dang it, I double clicked. Okay, there we go. 26 on the whiz save for that.
But you're
So.
doing better than Decibel is. Externally, he has shut down. There is the only sign that you have that he's not completely checked out is that the echo connection is still open, which may or may not be a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Alright. Memoir, like, for a moment, the way that 26, like, shows up physically is there's a moment where all of those eyes on his wings just snap open all at once, because, mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball. Um, and then I'm using the term, trauma ball, because that's what you use. There's a sense almost of it being picked up, examined, set aside for a moment, and then just God damn. Yeah, the spicy trauma ball, like, gets picked up, examined, set aside for, this is important and we will talk about it in a moment. But for now, you need to fucking breathe. So there's a calm, like, there's a impression of calm that gets sent across that isn't sent across with emotions or sensations or words or comfort. Instead, it's a feeling of being, it's a sound in your ears of being inside while a storm rages on outside. It's a feeling of, basically the feeling of having a roof over your head to protect you from the storm and walls that you know are not going to come down. And it is measured, ticking sounds from a piece of indistinct clockwork. And the distant sort of pushing of a bellows as sort of an indication to breathe. You are not there. You are safe.
Reroll that with save at advantage. Okay, good. Cool. He got a 17 plus 4 instead of the 6 total he got last time.
Jesus, decimal.
Yeah, he rolled really bad on that. Yeah, so that's a 21. You can tell it's taken effect because he sharply inhales and then practically throws the echo ball onto the floor. Shuts down the. It's like a door being slammed in your face that actually hits you in the nose. How quick that echo connection is shut.
Mm-hmm. Memoir, for his credit, doesn't fucking flinch. Just, yep, okay, that's understandable. Ow.
I am not doing that again.
Understandable, have a nice. Most people... I don't think anyone would want to try that again. Alright, let's unpack this. You said that the... Huh?
I'm rolling a thing at the... Oh, that's a 2. Oh, that's a 1. Okay, yeah, no, I'm just gonna let you have this. He is quietly hyperventilating, trying to calm himself down. He is slowly calming down, but he is still quietly hyperventilating.
Okay. Permission to roll insight to see what the best thing to do to help would be in this situation? Or, actually, wait, no, fuck it. I have something that allows me to directly ask the DM what will help here.
You gonna use... Okay, yep, ask your question.
I have to roll,
Roll your history.
I have to roll history. 19, okay. I have good luck with these.
Just talk. Move on with the subject. If you let him stew, it will get worse. Just keep talking.
Okay. And Memoir, like, there's a moment where his hand slips into his pocket and brushes against the watch again, just trying to ask that question, and gets that short, simple answer, and just, okay? Right. So, the omen that you were given, the vision you were given, that was of, as you said, a bloodied knife in your hand and one of us going down. And obviously, you don't want to have that happen again, for understandable reasons. My first measure is to remind you that blood does not necessarily equate a lethality, but I understand that that's also likely cold comfort. Is there any other context you can think of? Any Any linking thread? You said that who it is keeps changing. Are there any consistent faces?
It's always one of us.
There are 7 of us. 8 if you count them.
It's never them.
Never them.
And
Right.
clearly it's never me, so it's...
6. Does anyone appear more frequently than the others?
Not more frequently. Less frequently, actually. The fair one.
Right. And is there anything that could give you context? This might be an odd question, but the colors of the eyes. Does anyone have green eyes when otherwise they wouldn't?
He narrows his eyes, thinking, and doesn't respond immediately. No, they don't. The only thing I can ever see clearly is their face. And they are always afraid. I thought it was of me. But now that I think about it, maybe. And he does cut off and cover his mouth with one hand.
I was about to say, Memoir also has that moment of covering his mouth with his hand, which very interesting that they both chose that, gesture in this moment. And you can practically hear gears clicking and turning as Memoir thinks. Context you gave just before you mentioned this vision. You've interfered twice. You don't think they'll let you interfere again. Is it possible that those concepts could be related? I don't know you very well personally, but I assume you're not the sort who would turn against his own brother, and certainly not against strangers who've done nothing to you, to help somebody who got you tortured. So obviously you're not going willingly to help them, but...
I already know that they have dominant person. Because they almost use it, and I managed to stop them.
Right. They're... Fucking hell, I hate enchantment magic.
You and me fucking both.
I mean, honestly, people give necromancy shit, but that stuff is... Don't speak ill of other people's magic. I'm sure there are plenty of enchantment mages who are absolutely lovely. Good lord, I have seen this used quite too often. Okay. So if those two concepts are connected, then there's a chance that they could try to use you against us. If...
I mean, it would make sense, wouldn't it? The vast majority of you are spellcasters, but for a spell, you can cancel it. You can't really cancel or Uno reverse a fucking knife between your ribs.
No, you can't. Did you make any sort of agreement with them? Any sort of deal when it was your turn, for lack of a better term?
No.
Any...
They called me paranoid. I said I was justified. I ran. They caught me.
Right. Right. And they didn't... Okay. Memoir will, like, push up off of the desk that he was leaning on and, sort of start pacing, like, again, audible gears turning and just trying to figure this out. So, question is this a warning or a surety?
With the exception of one person who I've never been able to read, much to my frustration. Every reading I've done has come to pass. Perhaps not in the way that was originally thought, but it has always happened.
Right, that makes sense. And there is that flicker of gold again, as Memoir rubs his eyes with his hand and mutters something about inevitable, and then shakes his head, keeps pacing. Alright, so there's a high likelihood that you could be turned into a weapon against us. The question is, when does this happen? Given that you said Asclepius the Firbolg, his name is Asclepius, he's very nice. He's the least likely, from what you can tell, yes? Least likely to be attacked?
I don't think that's it. Well, he appears the least, yes, but I don't think it's because he's less likely to be attacked. Something about that doesn't
feel right. No, I understand that. Okay, so if it's not least likely to be attacked, try this out besides. Least likely to be available? Most likely to be predisposed?
That feels like it fits better, yes.
So this likely isn't during... That would make sense. Hers is the shortest. Alright, so it isn't during 6. Likely during 7, which means it's likely while we are trying to get him back. Yes? Yes. You had no connection to Gibbs before the other day, did you?
I heard about it through, Hugh. I only made that connection after.
Right. Right, but before that you'd never met. Yes?
Correct. Yes.
So what brought you to Halloween Town that day?
I am the fate of chaos. If I end up somewhere, it is usually not by my own doing. I took a walk. I ended up there.
One moment, please.
An eyebrow raise. At which point, Raph walks back in the room with a tray of tea, having slipped off while these two were panicking.
Oh, no, that was out of character. Just a moment, please.
Ah.
I was rolling a wisdom save.
Ah.
You are welcome to roll insight, because there is... The reaction is very, very subtle.
Okay. Okay. Alright. That is... and that.
Alright.
Fucking font change is throwing me off. Yep, so it's 29 decimal and 23 from Raph.
Alright. So, okay. Basically, there's the slightest, faintest twitch. When you mention, you know, I forget what the exact line you use, but basically, I am the fate of chaos. If I am somewhere, it is likely not by my own design.
Yeah.
There is the slightest, faintest twitch, and a couple more of those eyes on his wings open for a moment, as something in his head just hisses in irritation and anger, and just, it's not how people are supposed to be, that's not right. That shouldn't be how that works.
You still get the eyebrow raise, but this time it's more of a what, like you've never been summoned somewhere for plot.
Memoir just waves off the eyebrow raise and continues pacing, because the wisdom save was to see, okay, how bad does he do at holding back this flood of outside anger, and the answer is he doesn't do badly. He actually does pretty damn well. He's likely gotten used to this over the last couple weeks.
Rip.
Because, with the whole Gibbs situation and all that, boy, his other half has been very irritated.
Yeah.
She is not a happy camper right now.
I can imagine. Raph does still pick this moment to come back with tea, but in this case, it's more of a just walking in the middle of a conversation rather than a.
Memoir will, wave to him absent-mindedly while still muttering to himself and trying to figure this out. And just, okay. But you were drawn in by the plot. Which means you're already inextricably part of the cast.
Wow.
Because otherwise, without a connection, there would be no reason for you to be drawn into that. It wasn't the sort of thing that would be an open call cast. It was very distinctly, that was a personal altercation, which means you being involved was supposed to build to something else.
Well, perhaps it's just convenient. They did need a reason for them not having to deal with the fox. Or for you not having to deal with the fox, I should say.
Still, if it were just about a matter of convenience, it could have been, well, Halloween Town doesn't have any shortage of agile or strong or capable individuals who can handle themselves in a fight. Many of whom Gibbs is connected to and has friendships with. You were an outlier in that situation.
Someone with a connection but not done nearly as well. It's because I was attached that I was able to play keep away so long.
I don't doubt it. The question still remains. You are both too connected and too unconnected. It's an odd coincidence that somebody who is part of our lovely little club of kidnapping victims, someone who was the first of our number, would then be involved almost out of nowhere with the most recent case. which implies that you're already part of the cast, and this was a way of bringing you back in.
Well, I did help rescue Hugh. I wasn't there for Gregory because I was already indisposed, and I wasn't there for you.
But Hugh was personal, and an explanation could be given there of, well, of course he was there, it was his brother. This was irrefutable, indisputable. Memoir will look over at Raph and just be like, what's the term I'm looking for?
I think indisputable works.
Indisputable, then. That made your placement in the cast indisputable. And now you've had this vision. And that was second time interfering with Thrall's bullshit. Third time? Second time. But your first encounter with them count as interfering with their bullshit?
No, that one was business. They were there for me.
Right. Or at the very least, you were in the area and they happened to catch sight of you.
Convenient business. I think perhaps
Quite frankly,
both of you were looking a bit too wide.
oh? If you've got another perspective, I'm happy to hear it.
Raph gestures at this man who, to his eyes, is dressed in all black, and goes, he did say he's the fate of chaos. What if he's supposed to be a wild card?
I mean, that would track, yes.
Like, from what you said, Memoir, when you told me about it, Gibbs seemed perfectly suited to be able to deal with a spellcaster. Do you use spells? I do not. See? This perfect ace in the hole.
You know, it's funny. You're not the first one to refer to him as that. Then use that term too. Or, no, ace up our sleeve.
Perhaps it's a title we should be taking far more seriously.
Oh, for fuck's sake, I can't make heads or tails of this. One moment. And Memoir will reach into his pocket and pull out the pocket watch again. And basically, he's not got a specific question. He's asking for hints. Let's roll that history of just, what do we do with this information? What are you giving us this information for? Why? Come on, DMV. There we go. Sorry, sometimes DMV takes a minute to give me the rolls for some reason.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
21, okay. Spoilers, honey.
Oh, fuck you and your spoilers. That is out loud, snapped at the pocket watch.
Both Raph and Decimal snort.
You know, it's being entirely unhelpful. Okay, let's try and rephrase the question. I get 3 tries every time I do this. Let's try and rephrase this question. and this is me as a player take a moment to try and figure it out, but also Memoir, like, sitting there trying to figure out his words. How much of a danger does this pose?
Is it still rolling off the 21?
Yes. This is the second of the 3 questions for the 21. The first one was just, in general, why?
This pose. Out of everyone in the group, Decimal is probably the only person who could consistently take any of you out.
I don't think he'd do that of his own accord. I know he wouldn't. So then... There's a frown and just... What's to be done with this information?
There is a distinct difference between suspense and surprise. If you have a scene between 2 people and suddenly a bomb goes off, you've had 15 seconds of surprise. If you show the audience there is a bomb underneath the desk that will go off at 1 o'clock, and that it is currently 1:45, you have given them 15 minutes of suspense.
Oh, quite frankly, fuck you, blind. That was Memoir's reaction. I am just smiling because, oh, I love that. But Memoir is just, oh, absolutely fuck off.
I was bit through my thumb trying not to laugh there.
Great. So, you can't tell me why you're telling us this, because that's spoilers, apparently. You can't tell me anything useful as for how much of a threat this is. And you won't... And your only reason, the only thing you can give me for why or how I'm meant to use this is, oh, it's suspense. Jesus Christ! I know narrators were dicks, but this is just a whole nother level. Okay.
There is a look of great concern on Raph's face, and Decimal has got his hand covering his mouth again. Roll insight.
23!
Yeah, you managed to beat the 16. He is trying not to laugh.
You can laugh, my suffering is funny. Anyway. Memoir makes, like, a gesture like he wants to throw the pocket watch and then, like, stops at the last minute because, hey, maybe let's not give me a heart attack today. And he, like, very aggressively clicks it shut and slides it back into his pocket. Very much, like, it has the same energy of when you send bad dice to dice jail. Naughty objects!
Bad and naughty pocket watches go back in the pocket.
Okay. So, short answer is one of our patrons, yours or mine or the narrators in general, is just fucking with us. There's not much I can do about suspense.
There is one thing you can do with suspense.
Hmm?
Balance it. We know that there is a very likely future in which I am turned against the group. We know that it is coming, we can prepare for it. It is suspense. Only for those who aren't aware.
How aware do you want the others to be?
You have seen a timeline where I am you and you and I. You know that I am not one to advocate for honesty. But
And in this situation, I can see why you might be hesitant. I don't imagine you'd be quick to put yourself in a situation that could wind up with you in a cage again. I'm sorry, Memoir's not good at being comforting.
yeah, he closes his eyes and has his hands kind of elbows resting on his knees, fingers interlocked in front of his face, and you can see in real time his mood ring go from brown to a flicker of blue that quickly turns purple and then lightens to pink.
Don't know what the colors mean, man.
Memoir would, and for the audience, scared to a flicker of sad to determined to just calm. I had faith that my brothers would come, even if I did not know them as such yet. I have faith that the others would not do that. Understandably, they might bench me. I would argue that that is a smart move, but I don't think they'd put me in a cage.
I don't think they would either, from what I know of them, but I did. I have learned to think of worst case scenarios.
As have I.
The question is, I guess, what can be done about it? Obviously, as you said, benching you for that fight when it comes would be the smartest choice, but the thing is, we don't.
I don't think we can change this.
No.
I think no matter
It might be a smart choice, but at the time it might not be viable.
No. You misunderstand. Every future that I see comes true. Trying to avert it.
One often meets destiny on the path they take to avoid it.
That, but trying to prevent chaos, to lock it up, makes it worse.
Right.
That's when it becomes a ruin instead.
And we are not interacting with them. Fuck them.
Amen to that.
And Memoir will kind of he frowns and he fiddles with his fingers And there's a moment where, like, he twists the point of his index finger, it comes off, and then he twists it back on again. Because, doll hands are fun.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of glares at the ground and mumbles, I don't like a problem I can't fix.
Then don't think of it as a problem.
You being forced to stab someone is what we in the business would call a problem.
Well, in my business we'd call it unfortunate. A problem implies a solution. I don't think there is a solution to this, other than to let it happen. I go.
That
No
is
problem.
so not comforting. I thought I was bad at comforting people. Jesus.
A silver tongue I may have, but I don't suffer fools gladly. If you're looking for kind words, you come to the wrong sibling.
No, I didn't imagine you would be. God knows you give me enough trouble with it. Alright, if it's not something that can be solved, then do we tell the others so that they can be prepared? Or do we let them have the blissful ignorance? Because if we're prepared for you to be mind-jacked in some way or another, then at the very least we could make it at least so you only get one attack in before one of us manages to unspell you. And that could prevent possible death. Which I assume is ideal.
I mean, ideal would be not getting mind fucked at all, but I doubt we put that a choice in the matter. Again, far be it for me specifically to advocate total honesty. And strangely enough for me, I find myself wanting to be merciful. Ignorance is bliss. And, well, that doesn't matter, but
Raised eyebrow.
he just shakes his head again. I have a sneaking
Insight,
suspicion.
motherfucker.
Roll it.
That's a 21. That's not high enough, is it?
It is. Well, it may be. Oh, no, it's not high enough. Just barely missed it.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
He was. I rolled because he was actually actively trying to deceive. Oh, hang on. The duality of fucking man, Raph. God damn.
Oh. What did Raph roll?
That's what Raph rolls.
Jesus! Absolutely Christ!
The duality of fucking man.
God!
Raph can read it in his face. He doesn't want his siblings to be scared of him.
Oh.
And he doesn't share that with Memoir over the Echo Link. The moment he twigs it, he's like, oh, that's not my business to be sharing around. I think it would make Lynn worse.
Oh, most definitely.
I don't know Asclepius well enough to judge.
He would probably be fine.
You already know. If I tell
I know
Gregory,
lots of things.
he would tell Lynn, because he can't lie for shit.
No. He's bad enough that that bleeds over when I'm just taking from his source material. He can't keep his mouth shut.
He is such a babbler, and it is vexing. And if I tell Hugh, I don't think he can lie either. Well, I know he can't lie, but
Hugh is the sort of person who puts an undue amount of faith in others, and another one who can't really keep their mouth shut.
Yes. The only people who can lie in this God's forsaken, fate-damned, story-damned, fucked up little group we've got going on is me. And the monkey. And possibly you. I've not really seen you try to lie yet.
I can do it when I'm not doing it intentionally. Oftentimes I lie just by forgetting to mention something.
Well, that's not quite a lie. That's just forgetfulness. So, we have 2 of 7 who can lie.
That's not a good fraction.
That is not a good fraction. Which, actually, I have to ask, how the fuck did you get the heart back, then? If the only person who can lie is the fucking monkey, and she wasn't speaking.
Well, Asclepius distracted them, and then we snuck around behind them. Don't ask me how we did it. I have no fucking idea. They're all eyes. We should have all been seen. But we weren't. And we snuck into a cave, and we stole it from a wolf.
You stole it from a wolf? A wolf toon? Or a wolf?
I don't... Wolf aberration thing. I don't know what that was, and I don't want to think about it. Well, no, I know what it was. I don't want to think about it harder.
Worse. Right.
Worse. Decidedly fucking worse. I'm just glad that we didn't... Anyway. We stole it and got it back. I tried to heal it, but... And I need to roll wisdom against that outside anger again. Jesus.
That's
a 10.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a moment where, you know, like, the Disney villain eyes with the rings and whatnot?
Yes.
Memoir's eyes momentarily just go gold and silver in just pulsing rings for a second, and he has to basically bite down a snarl of just frustration with why that healing didn't work.
I'm going to assume there was some fuckery afoot, and not ask any further.
Please don't. She's already giving me a headache.
Right, well, to divert the subject back to what we were talking about. This would not be the first secret that I've kept.
Would not be the what?
The first secret that he has kept.
Mm-hmm. Nor would it be mine. You already have my word that whatever you say won't leave this room.
You have mine as well. And he nods.
I have to say, hell of a first impression to make.
Not quite a first impression, though, is it?
First one meeting you personally in a manner where, for lack of a better term, I'm actually paying attention to you. By my count, this is first impressions. I don't... Knowing someone because you've been in their shoes is different than knowing someone because you've met them in person. Just because I can understand to some degree, although it is highly distorted, your story doesn't mean I know you as a person, doesn't mean I can assume to understand how you tick, how you work, and how I interact with you.
Fair enough.
And meeting you in a time of crisis when I am mostly worried about one of my longest standing friends not dying or clipping through the fucking carpet, whatever the hell. That doesn't really count as a meeting.
Fair enough.
So, I repeat, how was the first impression you've made here?
The funny thing is I can't even claim this to be my worst.
Oh?
The first time that I met Hugh, and Gregory, and Gray, and Pip. Not the first time I met Lynn, though. She'd come to get a reading from me before. We were sucked into the demiplane of ruin. I was transmogrified into a different form. Most of the rest of them had their worst memories put on show. And then we were rescued by two other things.
Oh, fuck. God. Memoir puts his hand to his face, and you kind of catch a glimpse of just a drop of bright gold trickling down from his nose as multiple different versions of that memory pop into his head.
Raph has pressed his hands together in, like, the boy pose. Pauses slightly, pulls a handkerchief from his pocket and holds it out to Memoir.
Muchas gracias, Papa. And he takes the handkerchief and holds it to his nose.
Once the handkerchief is taken, he goes back to the boy pose and is just, like, kind of speed running the stages of grief. Give him a second.
Yep, that was certainly an adventure from every perspective. Ow.
You know, we said Fate of Chaos. That's not quite what I thought that meant. That was the Fates of Ruin. Do keep up.
Yeah, no, Ruin is significantly worse than Chaos. Chaos is at least constructive in some ways, or at the very least interesting. Ruin is just a pain in the ass.
Chaos, at the very least, is usually fun.
Mm-hmm. Or at the very least can be fun. Meanwhile, Ruin is just depression.
I'm glad you all appreciate the work that I do so diligently.
Somehow I sense sarcasm in that statement, but I'm not sure how.
Oh dear, did I not make it clear enough?
Memoir snorts and then winces as just more of that gold just soaks into the handkerchief, and he's just like, ah, fuck. These nosebleeds are getting really annoying.
I suspect if I stay and chat more, you're going to end up with more. Well,
Shame.
my curiosity has been sated, at least.
Happy to provide some answers at least. Don't be a stranger. You're interesting company.
You are too. And I have to roll. Oh, fine. That's totally fine. He stands up, grabs his cane, takes a quick look around, and then kneels to scoop up the echo ball that he tossed earlier. And will hold it in his hand for a second before tilting his hand to slide it up his sleeve.
Memoir is a little surprised by that, but says nothing.
I'm never one to deny an sip of my own slave. And this is just useful.
If you ever need me, or find yourself on the wrong side of the law, which I can't imagine has ever happened before, give me a call.
I'll make a note of that. Although if I am the one on the wrong side of the law, I imagine it'll be Hugh who'll be contacting you. I can't imagine he'd be the one behind bars with me. March, perhaps, but not Hugh. He's too much of a goody two-shoes. I'm trying to break up that habit, but...
That actually does genuinely make Memoir laugh. Well, I wish you best of luck with that. See you around.
Tips his hat, walks out. Raph waits 3 seconds and then turns to Memoir and goes, so was he actually wearing all black, or were there designs on it that I couldn't see?
Memoir wheezing. Because the mental image of Decimal in all black is just too edgy for words. And Memoir will just kind of hold his hand up to his earring and send Raph an image of what Decimal actually looks like.
Makes sense.
Definitely edgy, but not quite hold off phase.
No, this is more Victorian goth. I think we walked out of fucking production of Dracula.
Goodness, that was a hell of a conversation.
Yeah.
You okay?
I am so scared for you.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I didn't mean to end up in a situation that would scare you.
There is one person who's at fault for this, and it's the fucking bastard with the stupid green eyes. I think they're green.
They're green. Decidedly green.
Which
is unfair, because that's my color.
Yeah, but yours are a nice green. Theirs are rancid. And they've got far too fucking many.
They have so many. It's unsettling. I'm not it, but damn.
You know,
put some of those away.
You know,
That's too many.
I got a theory. I think they're compensating.
Oh?
I think they're not particularly good in other areas, so they're making up for it in the amount of eyes they got.
No more fucking couples overlapping.
Raffy's grinning.
Memoir is just wheezing. I don't think I want to get close enough to check.
I don't know. I might like it. Plus, if I'm that close, I can shove a dagger in their face, you know? Speaking of which, he puts his away. He never actually put it away. He had it just in his hand the entire time after pulling it out. They got distracted.
He had it in his hand as he was bringing in tea. Oh. This conversation was anything to be believed. We might get that close encounter sooner than we like, but at least we have warning. Hopefully, when this is all over, the narrators will have sated their sadism and will leave us the fuck alone.
Here's hoping.
Very pointed glare at his fucking pocket watch.
If they don't, I will find a way to break into their house and stab them a couple times.
God. You know, if anyone I know was going to be able to stab a god, you'd certainly be pretty high on the list.
Why, thank you. I do like to think I am pretty stealthy.
You are. It's a very impressive trait. Okay, I think my nose has stopped bleeding. He pulls the handkerchief away from his face and just... Yep, okay. Well, I'm going to have the equivalent of highlighter on my lip for a while, but other than that...
What do you say we close early, go get some good takeout, and just watch a movie? I think we deserve it after that.
That sounds absolutely delightful.
Alright, let's go.
Do you think that's where we pan out?
I think that's a good place to pan out, especially because if I have my time math right, you need to go soon.
Yeah, I do. But that was fun. Thank you so much for playing with
That
me.
went directions that I did not expect it to go, but that was good.
That was fun. Thank you all for listening. Have a good day.
Bye.